volcano near the capital could be on the verge of a dangerous eruption.
At that moment when tourists visiting an active volcano had to run for their lives.
I know this sounds crazy, but it almost looks like lava, volcanic lava pouring onto the street.
In the heart of America, the ground trembles with an urgency that's impossible to ignore. Yellowstone National Park, a jewel of nature's beauty, now rumbles with the echoes of hundreds of earthquakes. What's causing this sudden seismic surge? Is the iconic park's supervolcano awakening from its slumber? As officials scramble to decode the signals, one thing is clear: Yellowstone is sounding an alarm. But the question is, are we ready to listen? Beneath the pristine landscapes of Yellowstone National Park, the ground has long been trembling. Recent seismic activities have sent ripples of concern among scientists, park officials, and the general public. The question on everyone's mind: what's causing this sudden surge in earthquakes, and what could it mean for the future of Yellowstone? Most importantly, is Yellowstone's supervolcano on the brink of a catastrophic eruption? The Yellowstone Volcano Observatory's annual reports, which have been chronicling the park's seismic activities since 2017, paint a picture that's both fascinating and foreboding. For example, the 2022 report reveals a year fraught with geological unrest. In that year alone, the Yellowstone region was rocked by 2,429 earthquakes. What's even more shocking is that about 66% of these seismic activities occurred as swarms, which are clusters of earthquakes that happen closely in both time and space. One particularly intense swarm, consisting of over 1,100 earthquakes, persisted throughout the latter half of the year near Grizzly Lake, situated between Mammoth Hot Springs and Norris Geyser Basin. These seismic patterns, especially when viewed in the context of Yellowstone's volatile geothermal systems, could be harbingers of a more significant event on the horizon. The frequency, intensity, and clustering of these quakes might be nature's way of signaling that the park's subterranean forces are stirring, possibly building up to a cataclysmic eruption. But what do experts say about the chances of a future eruption? While the recent seismic activity is undeniably concerning, most experts urge caution in jumping to conclusions. The park has witnessed countless earthquakes, eruptions, and other geological events over millions of years. In that context, the recent tremors, while significant, are just another chapter in an ongoing saga. But there's an elephant in the room that can't be ignored: the possibility of a volcanic supereruption. Yellowstone isn't just any national park. It houses a supervolcano, one of the most powerful volcanic systems on the planet. The term supervolcano might sound like something out of a science fiction novel, but it's all too real. Supervolcanoes are characterized by their ability to produce eruptions thousands of times more powerful than typical volcanoes. These eruptions can spew out over 1,000 cubic kilometers of ash and debris, enough to blanket entire continents and plunge the world into a volcanic winter. At the heart of this supervolcano is the Yellowstone caldera, a vast crater formed by the park's last supereruption some 640,000 years ago. This caldera, stretching over 30 miles across, serves as a chilling reminder of the region's explosive past. But it's not just a relic of bygone days, it's a living, breathing geological entity. The caldera rises and falls as magma shifts below the surface, and its movements are closely monitored by scientists for any signs of an impending eruption. Delving deeper into the magma chamber beneath Yellowstone reveals a system of unparalleled complexity and scale. This chamber, which extends several miles beneath the Earth's surface, contains vast amounts of molten rock and gases. Recent studies suggest that the magma reservoir is even larger than previously thought, with a volume of over 11,000 cubic miles. To put that into perspective, that's more than 4 times the volume of the Grand Canyon. The magma chamber's composition is also of particular interest to scientists. It consists of a mixture of molten rock, known as rhyolite, and basalt. The presence of rhyolite is especially concerning as it indicates highly viscous magma, which can lead to more explosive eruptions. The gases trapped within the magma, including water vapor, carbon dioxide, and sulfur dioxide, add to the chamber's volatility. When these gases escape rapidly, they can drive powerful eruptions, propelling ash and debris high into the atmosphere. Think of it like a pressure cooker. Over time, as magma accumulates and pressure builds, the risk of an eruption increases. But it's not a simple ticking time bomb. There are numerous factors at play, and predicting the exact timing and scale of an eruption is incredibly complex. The balance between the magma's pressure and the strength of the Earth's crust above it is delicate. Any significant disturbance, whether from tectonic movements or a sudden influx of magma, could tip the scales toward an eruption. The geology of the Yellowstone region is a testament to the supervolcano's might. The park's landscape is dotted with geothermal features, from bubbling mud pots to soaring geysers like Old Faithful. These features are powered by the intense heat generated by the magma chamber below, a constant reminder of the fiery forces lurking just beneath the surface. In July, Yellowstone National Park experienced an alarming seismic pattern that sent shockwaves of concern among geologists and park officials worldwide. Over a short span from July 10th to the 13th, the ground beneath the park roared to life with a distinct swarm of 12 earthquakes. Shockingly, all these earthquakes were centered roughly 10 miles northeast of West Yellowstone, Montana. While such swarms in volcanic regions might be brushed off as routine, this particular incident has set off alarm bells, hinting at potentially catastrophic geological shifts beneath our feet. The most pronounced tremor in this series was a magnitude 1.5 quake, which jolted the area on July 10th at precisely 11:09 p.m. MDT. While this tremor might seem inconsequential in its magnitude, it has ignited fears about the park's volatile geothermal systems and the looming shadow of a cataclysmic volcanic eruption. But the ground didn't settle there. By August, the University of Utah seismograph stations had pinpointed a staggering 88 seismic events in the Yellowstone region. Among these, the most potent was a magnitude 2.2 quake, considerably stronger than the earlier events in the swarm, which unleashed its fury just north of Canyon Junction on July 25th. But are these earthquakes the only alarming occurrence at Yellowstone as of late? Far from it. In the heart of Yellowstone's Norris Geyser Basin, the Steamboat Geyser stands eerily silent. As the world's tallest active geyser, it's a spectacle that can shoot water to staggering heights of over 300 feet when it chooses to perform. What makes Steamboat truly enigmatic is its whimsical nature. Its eruptions are a game of chance, sometimes gracing spectators within days, and at other times making them wait for decades. But 2023 brought with it an eerie silence. As July concluded, Steamboat remained dormant, not showcasing even a single one of its majestic eruptions. With only 5 major eruptions to its name this year, the geyser's stillness has become a topic of intrigue, especially when juxtaposed with the park's heightened seismic tremors. Could there be a connection between the two? Is the ground's unrest silencing the mighty Steamboat? Recent research has unearthed fascinating insights from the petrified trees surrounding the geyser. These ancient sentinels tell tales of Steamboat's age-old tussle with drought conditions. The study suggests that the environment, particularly droughts, might be pulling the strings behind the scenes, influencing when and how the geyser erupts. But could there be a deeper, more sinister connection between the geyser's silence and the park's seismic unrest? As the world grapples with the escalating impacts of climate change, droughts have become more frequent and intense. These prolonged dry spells, driven by rising global temperatures, have far-reaching consequences, affecting everything from agriculture to ecosystems. But what's alarming is the potential link between these droughts, the erratic behavior of geothermal wonders like Steamboat Geyser, and the ominous rumblings beneath Yellowstone. The Norris Geyser Basin, where Steamboat resides, is a hotspot of geothermal activity. The water that feeds its eruptions comes from rain and melted snow, which seep into the ground, get heated by the underlying magma, and then rush to the surface in a spectacular display. However, with droughts becoming the new norm, the geyser's water source is dwindling. Less water means less pressure, which could lead to decreased eruptions. But this isn't just a simple case of a geyser running dry. The implications are far more profound and terrifying. When there's less water to cool the magma chamber below, the magma becomes hotter and more viscous. This change in its properties can lead to increased pressure within the chamber, making it more prone to fractures and, consequently, seismic activities. The tremors and quakes that Yellowstone has been experiencing might very well be a result of this pressure buildup, exacerbated by drought conditions. Now let's add climate change to the mix. The planet's changing climate isn't just responsible for the droughts, it's also affecting the very fabric of Earth's geological systems. As glaciers melt and sea levels rise, the Earth's crust adjusts to these changes, leading to shifts in tectonic plates and increased volcanic activity. Yellowstone, sitting atop a massive supervolcano, is particularly vulnerable to these shifts. The combination of drought-induced pressure changes and tectonic shifts could be setting the stage for a geological catastrophe. While it's too early to draw definitive conclusions, the patterns are undeniably concerning. As we continue to alter our planet's climate, we might also be unwittingly awakening the fury of one of the world's most formidable supervolcanoes. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the warning signs, like the silence of Steamboat Geyser, couldn't be clearer. But the story doesn't end there. In the shadow of the iconic Old Faithful geyser, yet another series of startling events have begun to unfold on Geyser Hill. This area, brimming with geysers, hot springs, and other geothermal wonders, is a living testament to the Earth's fiery underbelly, constantly evolving, erupting, and transforming right before our eyes. But recent events suggest that something far more ominous might be brewing beneath the surface. As July unfolded, Geyser Hill began to betray signs of deep unrest. The Aurum Geyser, silent for 2 years, erupted without warning on May 24th, spewing scalding water skyward in an unexpected display of nature's fury. Hot on its heels, the Beehive Geyser, known for its powerful eruptions that can reach up to 200 feet, also intensified its activity. But the real shocker came in early June. Right next to the Doublet Pool, a new geothermal feature emerged, splashing boiling water on the boardwalk where unsuspecting tourists had stood moments before. Another feature, dormant since 2018, reactivated with explosive force, hurling debris onto the walkway. With these alarming changes coinciding with the park's heightened seismic tremors, are we on the brink of witnessing nature's wrath in its most terrifying form? Yellowstone's authorities, sensing the gravity of the situation, sprang into action with an urgency rarely seen before. Recognizing the potential danger, areas around Geyser Hill were immediately cordoned off, and the boardwalk, now a front line to these geothermal outbursts, was shut down. To understand the significance of this recent seismic surge, one must delve into Yellowstone's tumultuous past. This region is no stranger to earthquakes. Ranking as one of the most seismically active regions in the entire United States, this area witnesses a staggering 1,500 to 2,500 earthquakes every year. While this might sound alarming, the reality is even more harrowing. The majority of these tremors, though subtle to human senses, are potential precursors to something far more catastrophic. While these recent tremors are cause for concern, they are not without precedent. History has shown that Yellowstone can unleash its fury without warning, as was the case with the devastating HEBGEN Lake earthquake in 1959. This cataclysmic event, which tore through the tranquil Montana landscape on the night of August 17th, remains a chilling testament to the raw, unpredictable power lurking beneath Yellowstone. But was this devastating quake merely an isolated incident, or a forewarning of the volcanic fury that might one day be unleashed? The evening began like any other in the picturesque region surrounding HEBGEN Lake. Families settled into their homes, campers enjoyed the serene beauty of the national park, and wildlife roamed freely. But at precisely 11:37 p.m., the earth convulsed with a ferocity that few could have imagined. The ground shook, trees swayed violently, and the once placid waters of HEBGEN Lake transformed into monstrous waves. The quake, measuring a staggering 7.5 on the Richter scale, became the most potent earthquake to hit the state of Montana, and remains so to this day. Although minor tremors and ground shifts aren't uncommon in the region, the magnitude and suddenness of the HEBGEN Lake earthquake caught even seasoned geologists off guard. This only goes to show the immense challenges of predicting earthquakes, especially in an area as geologically complex as Yellowstone. Perhaps the most significant lesson from the HEBGEN Lake earthquake is the stark reminder of Yellowstone's potential for destruction. The quake was a mere precursor, a tremor compared to the volcanic eruption that could one day rock the region. The vast magma chamber beneath the park, if it were to erupt, could unleash a cataclysm of unimaginable proportions. The 1959 earthquake, devastating as it was, might pale in comparison to the fury of a Yellowstone supereruption. And with the recent seismic activities and patterns observed, one can't help but wonder if these are the early whispers of the Earth, hinting at a more significant imminent upheaval. The quake was a wake-up call, a stark reminder of the volatile forces beneath our feet. And as seismic activity in the region continues to intensify, we must ask ourselves, are we truly prepared for what Yellowstone might unleash next? Yet another alarming observation that cannot be ignored is the ground deformation around the Norris Geyser Basin. Beneath the picturesque landscapes of Yellowstone, the Earth is in constant motion, subtly shifting and reshaping itself in a dance as old as time. This phenomenon, known as ground deformation, is more than just a geological curiosity. It's a window into the very heartbeat of our planet, especially in regions with volcanic activity. Imagine the Earth's crust as a living, breathing entity. When magma moves or accumulates beneath the surface, it can cause the ground above to rise, a process known as uplift. Conversely, when there's a decrease in underground pressure or magma drains away, the ground can sink, termed as subsidence. These shifts, while often minute, are of paramount importance. They can signal impending volcanic eruptions or other significant geothermal events. And with tools like GPS stations, tilt meters, and the advanced satellite-based INSAR, scientists can monitor these changes with alarming precision. Now let's delve into the recent happenings at Yellowstone. The White Lake GPS station, situated on the eastern flank of the Yellowstone caldera, has been detecting some warning signs. While the ground predominantly showed a sinking trend through fall, winter, and most of spring, the summer months of 2023 painted a different picture. There was a pause in this subsidence and in some instances a slight elevation. Scientists believe that this uplift is due to the groundwater recharge from melting snow and runoff, and also that this isn't a new phenomenon. Since 2015, this ebb and flow of the Earth's crust have been a recurring pattern. However, the summer of 2023 has brought a sudden and unexpected rise. This could very well be a sign of magma moving closer to the surface, leading up to a disastrous volcanic eruption. But the real concern lies with the Norris Geyser Basin. Known for its dynamic and scalding hydrothermal features, this basin has a history of significant ground deformation. While recent data hasn't flagged any abrupt changes, history tells us that this basin's calm can be deceptive. Past events have shown that sudden uplifts here can be a precursor to more significant, potentially catastrophic events. Scientists are racing against time, trying to identify patterns, predict potential eruptions, and, hopefully, provide enough warning to save countless lives. But the clock is ticking, and the margin for error is razor thin. Enter the role of government agencies and organizations, such as the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory, YVO. The YVO, a collaboration between the U.S. Geological Survey, USGS, the University of Utah, and Yellowstone National Park, is at the forefront of monitoring and studying the park's volcanic activity. Their state-of-the-art equipment, ranging from seismographs to GPS stations, continuously tracks the park's geological movements. The challenge, of course, lies in prediction. While scientists have made significant strides in understanding the mechanics of earthquakes, pinpointing the exact timing and location of the next major quake remains an elusive goal. The variables are numerous, and the data, while extensive, can't provide a complete picture. Amidst this uncertainty, the looming threat of a Yellowstone eruption casts a shadow of fear and apprehension over both the scientific community and the public at large. Yellowstone's past is punctuated by three cataclysmic events, eruptions of such magnitude that they reshaped the very land. These eruptions, occurring approximately 2.1 million, 1.3 million, and 631,000 years ago, weren't silent affairs. They announced their impending fury with a series of signs, a crescendo of earthquakes, the ground swelling and sinking as magma shifted below, and the park's famed geothermal features behaving erratically. The geysers, hot springs, and fumaroles, usually a source of wonder, became harbingers of the impending eruption. And when these eruptions came, they were nothing short of apocalyptic. Each event birthed a vast caldera, with the most recent one from 631,000 years ago, stretching an astonishing 30 by 45 miles. But the land wasn't the only thing that bore witness to these eruptions. The sky, too, bore testimony, as it darkened with immense clouds of volcanic ash that drifted across the continent. Today, remnants of this ash serve as a somber reminder, found in layers across various parts of the United States. But the repercussions weren't just geological. The ash and gases spewed into the atmosphere had the potential to plunge the Earth into a temporary chill, a volcanic winter that could alter climates and ecosystems. Now, imagine for a moment another eruption of this scale in our modern world. The skies darkening, not just over Yellowstone, but across continents. This ashfall would render vast tracts of agricultural land barren, leading to potential food shortages. Air travel would grind to a halt, reminiscent of the chaos caused by Iceland's Eyjafjallajökull in 2010. And the economic ramifications, both immediate and long-term, would ripple across sectors from tourism to trade. Subscribe to Beyond Discovery and see you in the next one.